Tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
There's no victory, right? There's no happiness. Tegan remains dead today.
Lisa Batstone, guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her daughter. Also,
it doesn't change what's happened.
8 years behind bars. The truck driver in the deadly Humboldt Broncos bus crash is sentenced. And
I think that the real trick is it's about timing.
bombs away. Behind the scenes with the Avalanche teams who keep BC motorists safe.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Good evening. Emotional reaction in court today as a Surrey woman was found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her daughter. A judge ruled Lisa Batstone acted with intent when she smothered 8-year-old Tegan with a plastic bag in 2014. The CBC's Joel Ballard was there for the verdict and a warning. Some of the details in his report are disturbing.
Tegan Batstone was only 8 when her mother placed a plastic bag over her mouth and nose, holding it there for up to 4 minutes, uninterrupted. Her mother, Lisa Batstone, made the decision to kill her daughter. A decision with forethought. That's according to BC Supreme Court Justice Catherine Murray. Today, she found Batstone guilty of second-degree murder, as Tegan's father watched from the gallery.
There's no victory, right? There's no happiness. Tegan remains dead today, as she will be tomorrow and every day. So we have our memories, but that there was some accountability, for that act, and that there's protection for children from this monster going forward.
Neither Crown nor defense argued whether Batstone killed her daughter, but whether it was done with intent. Defense claimed she was intoxicated and suffering from mental disorders, adding she couldn't perceive the consequences of her actions. The judge said although she believes Batstone was dealing with certain disorders, the murder was not impulsive. Her actions, choosing a heavy plastic bag, holding it over her, failing to call paramedics, all constituted a plan. In 2012, Lisa Batstone tried to take her own life. During the proceedings, Justice Murray said that Batstone had a plan. She wanted to kill herself, but she didn't want to leave Tegan behind. As for her sentence, which comes at a later date, Gabe's putting his faith in the court.
She took 70 years, 7 decades of Tegan's life, right? In a truly just society, she should probably serve 70 years in jail. That's what she took from Tegan.
Earlier this morning, Gabe posted photos of his daughter online, a tribute to her memory.
And I just wanted a bit of Tegan's love and joy, and to remember that, and not to remember her last moments, not to remember having, a plastic bag held over her head for 5 minutes, right? That's not what I want to leave her with. I want to leave her with her smile when she danced.
A sentencing hearing is scheduled for June 12th. Joel Ballard, CBC News, New Westminster.
And an emotional day for the families of Humboldt Broncos crash victims. Many were in court as the truck driver responsible was sentenced. Jaskarat Singh Sidhu pleaded guilty in January to 29 counts of dangerous driving causing death or bodily injury. The CBC's Karen Paul says more on today's sentence and the reaction.
Jaskarat Singh Sidhu left the courthouse today, heading to prison for 8 years, nearly a year after driving through a flashing stop sign into the path of the Humboldt Broncos tour bus, killing 16 people, injuring 13 others. This is the highest sentence ever given in Canada for dangerous driving not involving impairment. Some of the families are disappointed. It wasn't as much as they were hoping for.
I wish it was 8 years for the deaths and 5 years for the injury.
There's no number that would have made me happy.
It doesn't change what's happened, and we have a lifetime sentence. He gets 6 months for Adam's life.
Others trying to find any small light in this tragedy. Mark Dahlgren's son Caleb suffered a brain injury and neck and back injuries in the crash.
We have to find some positives out of it. The trucking industry is one. Seatbelts on buses is another.
Judge Inez Cardinal balanced the fact that Sidhu pleaded guilty, saving families an excruciating trial, but also said it was inconceivable he blew through a handful of signs warning him an intersection was coming up. The Crown had asked for 10 years. He was satisfied.
The Crown trusts that this sentence will send a very strong message to everyone using our highways. And that message is, that criminal driving will not be tolerated.
Sadhu's family hasn't spoken to the media throughout this process. His uncle made a brief statement today.
On behalf of my family, I would like to express my sincere sympathy to the 29 families.
There has never been a case like this before in Canada. No legal precedent for the sentence, something already being debated in legal circles.
It was a message she was sending. Look, even if you're an inexperienced driver, that's no excuse for not adhering to the rules of the road.
There's no word yet if the defense will appeal and ask for a lower sentence. Families now say they need to prepare for an excruciating anniversary coming up in just a couple of weeks. A memorial service is being planned in Humboldt for April the 6th. Families say it will be another heartbreaking experience. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Melfort, Saskatchewan.
Surrey RCMP has released 2 composite drawings hoping someone recognizes a man suspected of sexually assaulting a woman in the Newton area. On March 13th at about 9:30 in the evening, a man grabbed a woman from behind as she walked northbound on 124th Street near 72nd Avenue. The woman got away, but police say the man followed her to her front door where he attempted to assault her again. She got inside her home. The suspect was last seen heading southbound on 124th Street. The man is described as 5'10", skinny build, short black beard. His ethnicity is unknown. He is wearing a black baseball cap and a long black coat with a cream-colored shirt underneath. Anyone with information is asked to contact Surrey RCMP. Well, to a shocking encounter now, caught on camera. A pricey Bentley ripping down the Coquihalla Highway in the wrong direction. Leanne Young is here now with video and details on the owner. Leanne, what have we learned?
Well, Mike, we now know that the Bentley was allegedly stolen, and the owner was devastated to see his car driven this way. Take a look at the video. Now, the driver is heading southbound about 5 kilometers north of the Othello Lake Road exit. All of a sudden, the silver Bentley appears in his lane, zipping past him the wrong way. Of course, a frightening sight. The owner of the dashcam video is 24-year-old John Corrigan from White Rock. He said he was shocked to see the Bentley coming towards him, getting closer and closer, forcing him to switch lanes just in time. He was so shaken, he had to pull over right afterwards just to calm down.
Okay, and I guess another question, how's the owner of the Bentley feeling after seeing that video?
Well, that car is Ryan Campbell's baby, so he's devastated. The Langley man says his 2007 Bentley Continental GT is worth between $80,000 to $90,000. He says it was stolen from his house sometime between 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. on Thursday. He couldn't believe it was his car when he saw the dashcam video.
I was sick to my stomach because, again, I'm in the car business and I love cars, and this car is special to me. I've always wanted this color, I've always wanted the car, and I've got it. And originally, as I mentioned, I thought it was a joke. Somebody moved the car and I find it at the end of the street, but it was clearly stolen.
Now, Campbell says he was told Merritt RCMP did chase the Bentley when it was in the area, but they had to stop because the car was going so fast and there were concerns about safety. He was also told Kelowna RCMP attempted to pull the Bentley over. He is, of course, hoping to get his baby back, but he believes it's being hidden somewhere in the Okanagan. Mike?
Leanne Young reporting live tonight. Thanks. The Chilcotin First Nation has asked for an injunction in order to stop a drilling program near Williams Lake. Members and supporters took to the courthouse steps this morning to protest the Taseko Mines project. The company's new Prosperity Mine was approved for development in 2010 and given a permit to help collect geotechnical information. The Chilcotin are challenging that, though, saying the government had no right to approve the development and that it threatens Fish Lake.
They cannot displace the Fish Lake, and they can't displace the Chilcotin people. We have inherent laws and title, and the laws have to prevail on Chilcotin territory.
Regardless of what our action is, Taseko Mines will never come into my caretaker area. The Tsalkuti Nation and the rest of the world will not allow this.
They also say the province can stop the exploration program from going ahead if it wants. Well, a former U.S. First Lady was the hottest ticket in town last night. Michelle Obama thrilling a big crowd at Rogers Arena for what she called an intimate conversation. It's all part of her book tour entitled Becoming. She says she grew up in a poor family, but her parents encouraged her to speak her mind at a very young age and get an education.
I had parents who understood that to teach a child to have a voice means you have to appreciate their voice from very early on. That means you don't shush them. That means you take their questions, you dig deep, you let them ask things, you explain things. My mom always said she wasn't raising babies, she was raising grown-ups. And she wanted us to think rationally and be responsible for our own actions.
The former First Lady won over the audience with compliments on Vancouver's beauty and our open people before launching into some more serious topics.
Amazing. She is unbelievable. Best night ever.
She's, warm and confident and encouraging, and, that never goes out of style.
I honestly love a good pantsuit, and her message is so clear to people and wonderful and genuine.
Well, this week's warm temperatures mean an increased avalanche risk across Western Canada, and not just in the backcountry.
The highway would be closed a lot if we didn't do this.
Highways across BC are also facing a heightened threat at the moment, but work is being done to keep travelers safe. CBC's Tina Lovegreen got to go out with some avalanche technicians earlier this week, and we'll have more on their fight to keep things clear a little later in this newscast.
This weather update is brought to you by RE/MAX. What's your home worth? Find out with our instant valuation tool at remax.ca.
And Johanna Wagstaffe is here now. The clouds definitely rolled in. Are they going to be around for a while?
Yeah, in fact, waiting for the showers any second now. I see them on the radar, and they'll fill in tonight. Just a few isolated spits and spots, though, but keeping that risk going through tomorrow morning. It was a good run, and we did see a few records break across the province once again today. That's day 6 of record-breaking temperatures. Here's what it feels like outside right now, though, with your current temperatures. Still fairly mild, 17 out towards Pitt Meadows, 16 at YVR, 14 up towards West Van. So a good 3 degrees cooler than where we were yesterday, but still very mild for this time of the year. But it feels like change is a-coming. You probably saw those clouds start at cirrus level and make their way down to, I think we got some altostratus happening right now. Low pressure is pushing in. That's what's bringing this new array of clouds and showers to the region. It's not a huge weather maker, and as I take you through the next 24 hours, notice temperatures aren't massively cooler, down to an 8 tonight, so actually fairly mild as we get a good southerly push before the system moves in. And notice the sunny breaks I've also included throughout the day. Not a blue sky day like we've had yesterday, but we will see breaks between the rounds of clouds. So lingering drizzle in the morning, rounds of clouds and rounds of clouds and sun, I should say, through the rest of the day. There is a few more showers to get through for Sunday, though. I'll time it out coming up.
All right, Joe, thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, the largest celebration of Francophone and French-Canadian culture in BC begins tonight. All are invited to the 30th annual Festival du Bois at Mackin Park in Coquitlam.
We're a festival of discovery, and people come, and every year they leave being happy and surprised that they've discovered this new band and very excited about it. So it's new music and old music all blended together.
The festival runs right through the weekend. Every night we'll feature different musical guests, and there's plenty of traditional Quebecois food and activities for the whole family. And just a reminder, you can also watch CBC Vancouver News at 6 on our website, cbc.ca/BC. And if you're watching us right now on Facebook or YouTube, we are also commercial-free with extra content during the upcoming commercial break. Well, as mentioned, coming up next, Avalanche Warriors. We go behind the scenes with the team keeping BC motorists safe. And hi there, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube. Fair to say it's the biggest home sharing brand in the world, but what happens when an Airbnb plan goes Airbnb bad?
Our Charles Lee Agro has our latest marketplace investigation on how the travel giant handles some common complaints, including last-minute cancellations.
That was actually quite neat.
David Jackal spent months planning his 5-week 50th birthday getaway to Mexico. He booked his Airbnb rental 6 months in advance.
The price was amazing, really.
But 3 days before he was supposed to check in, his host canceled on him.
Okay, so now this has just gone serious.
At the last minute, Airbnb offered Jackal 2 alternatives, but he says they just didn't compare.
Price-wise, the comparison was spot on. Amenity-wise and everything else, not even close.
At the last minute, the only similar Airbnb Jackal says he could find was over $6,000 more than his original rental. He expected Airbnb would take care of the difference.
So the only way that I find that I have any recourse going back after Airbnb would be to book another Airbnb listing.
Jackal's not alone. Travel blogger Asher Ferguson reviewed more than 1,000 Airbnb guest stories after his own negative experience, and he noticed a trend.
Of the over 1,000 negative reviews we studied, 20% cited the host canceled the stay.
Airbnb only pay a percentage. We do not cover the whole total cost, okay?
After exchanging emails and phone calls with Airbnb for several months, Jackal was told he was not entitled to a full refund. But hours after Marketplace told Airbnb we were investigating Jackal's complaint, he did get his money back, more than $6,000. When we asked Airbnb why the sudden change of heart, the company wouldn't answer. But it did tell us negative incidents are extremely rare, and when they do happen, it tries to make them right. David, do you know that this is a $30 billion company and you took them on and you won?
I don't want to say that I took them on, but I didn't give up. How's that?
Jackal is just back from another trip to Mexico, but this time he stayed at a resort. Charles Ciagro, CBC News, Spruce Grove, Alberta.
And for even more common complaints and how to avoid getting stuck with a shady listing, watch the full investigation tonight on Marketplace, 8 p.m. right here on CBC. You've done the Airbnb thing?
Many times, and I have to say I've only had really positive experiences, but
yeah, for the most part, okay, although at one place, the owner was trying to get more money out of us after we'd already done everything.
This is when it gets into the shady realm, so
right,
yeah,
exactly.
Good investigation.
All right, Avalanche Warriors coming up next. Well, a special avalanche warning remains up tonight right across Western Canada.
And as the warm spring weather returns and temperatures continue to rise, so does the risk of avalanches. But it's not just backcountry users that are facing this heightened danger.
Yeah, many of BC's highways wind through those steep mountain passes prone to avalanches. The CBC's Tina Lovegreen went to the Kootenays to follow the avalanche control technicians who keep travelers on BC's highways safe.
Up two.
So this will be Bravo 1
Here we go.
This is going to be a loud one.
Never gets old, that's for sure. That's going to make a good avalanche.
It's a risky job, but they do it to keep you safe.
The highway would be closed a lot if we didn't do this.
Avalanche technicians at work in the Kootenay mountain range. This is one of the almost 50 avalanche paths in the area. But instead of letting nature call the shots...
Oh, that's making an avalanche. Listen to that too, eh?
They force the avalanche to come to them.
Kootenay Pass 10, 7-1.
What, Ori?
Yeah, you'll probably need a couple of loaders for this.
The 6-member team uses state-of-the-art technology. It's called the GAZEX system.
The magic.
24 cannons installed permanently on the mountainside, detonated from a laptop, a safe distance away. The system is efficient, accessible 24/7, no matter the weather. It's the largest program of its kind in Canada, and it's expanding.
One of the projects that we have going on this summer is there's an avalanche area called 35 Mile, and it's It's about 30 kilometers west of Terrace, BC. And we're putting in a remote avalanche control system there. It's a very, very challenging place for our avalanche crew.
The ministry began investing in highway avalanche control in the 90s after a string of fatalities. In 1974, a cafe west of Terrace got hit by a natural avalanche, killing 7 people. And in '76, 3 people were swept away in a convertible driving on this very road. While they use the cannons 95% of the time, they still need to use helicopters. Attacking areas from the air, the cannons can't reach. The explosives are made on site. They'll need 36 for today's heli bombing mission.
Do you ever think you'd be building bombs?
Probably not. Probably neither did my mom.
Doing this crucial work means closing the road and delays for drivers.
How long have you been waiting here for?
3.5 hours, about. It's been a long time.
The team needs to move fast.
Highway closures are stressful. We know we are under a lot of pressure to get the highway back open as soon as possible.
And as the cleanup crew moves in, the team waits for the sun to warm up the other side of the mountain. More blasting needs to be done.
The trick is it's about timing. So it's not about racing against the time, but it's about hitting it at the right time.
If they blast too early, they will fail to trigger an avalanche. If they wait too long, the snow will come roaring down on its own.
Yeah, and it sounds like we're going to be open in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So
after 4 hours, the highway reopens. Before firing cannons and dropping heli bombs, other work needs to be done.
No precip.
Identifying the avalanche threat means eyeballing the snowpack.
The first bit of real warm spring weather, so yeah, we're definitely expecting avalanches today.
First up, a snow profile.
I can start by digging my walls. Straighten these out. I'm interested in the upper snowpack today. I'm not worried about my deeper layers. I just want to see what's in the top 100 centimeters.
Avalanches happen when massive slabs of snow break loose.
So yeah, we could have a potentially dangerous layer coming up for our next snowfall.
Next, he checks to see how much pressure the snow can take before it breaks.
Potential weak layer. The cold temperatures have squared off the edges of the snow, so then it's a bit weaker.
Invaluable information that technicians need to ensure the safety of one of North America's most dangerous highways. Part of the problem, Highway 3 was built on the south side, where it catches the sun, and it runs through an avalanche path.
The highway was built, in the 1950s, so the avalanche problem wasn't really widely recognized. We didn't have a professional association in Canada at the time. There was no National Research Council on avalanches, and all the construction up at the Kootenay Pass happened in the summer months. So they didn't work up here in the winter.
Keeping this highway clear is a 24/7 operation.
Fatigue is an issue. Safety of our staff is paramount, and we can't have staff who are making critical decisions on people's safety or risk management being sleep deprived.
That's why there are bedrooms, cafeterias, and each technician is limited to a 12-hour shift.
Okay, thanks, man.
And in the middle of one of their busiest months, there is no slowing down when you're a warrior in battle against a mountain of snow.
Okay, thanks a lot for the day, Josh. We'll see you tomorrow.
From the Kootenay Pass, Tina Lovegreen for CBC News.
The power of that, it's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, and the men and women on these teams do really remarkable work.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how much work goes into clearing avalanches, forecasting avalanches. It is a full team that works to put out these forecasts and keep people safe. Nice reporting, Tina.
You like the snowpack stuff, too.
I did get a little excited when he was taking the snow core.
The snow core. It's a snow core, yeah. It's good stuff. All right,
Very
thanks,
cool.
Joe. Well, in the U.S., the special counsel's office has wrapped up its probe into Russian interference and possible collusion in the election. What'll likely happen now? Coming up. Here are some of the stories we're following tonight on CBC Vancouver News.
You know, she took 70 years, 7 decades of Tegan's life, right? In a truly just society, you know, she should probably serve 70 years in jail.
Lisa Batstone is found guilty of second-degree murder in the death of her daughter, Tegan.
There's no number that would have made me happy.
The truck driver involved in the deadly Humboldt Broncos bus crash is sentenced to 8 years behind bars.
Until you really see it, it's hard to appreciate the destructive potential of an avalanche.
With a special avalanche warning up for the BC backcountry, we went behind the scenes with the men and women who are working to keep motorists safe. Well, the marathon voting session in the House of Commons finally came to an end in the wee hours of this morning. The tactic was a protest by the Conservatives over the SNC-Lavalin affair that held up normal House business for more than 30 hours.
I do declare the 51st report of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts carried. Motion carried.
The Tories are demanding former Attorney General Jody Wilson-Raybould be allowed to provide more testimony about the SNC-Lavalin controversy. That call is getting a boost from former Treasury Board President Jane Philpott, who tells Maclean's magazine there's much more to the story. But the Liberals say there's nothing preventing Wilson-Raybould and Philpott from simply speaking out in the Commons, where they have parliamentary privilege. And adding to the pressure, Wilson-Raybould says she intends to provide more information about the SNC-Lavalin prosecution controversy. Today, the former Attorney General sent a letter to the chair of the Justice Committee saying she will respond to requests for text messages and emails. Committee hearings were shut down earlier this week, so Wilson-Raybould says she'll make written submissions. In addition, she says, I also have relevant facts and evidence in my possession that further clarify statements I made and elucidate the accuracy and nature of statements by witnesses in testimony that came after my committee appearance. Well, a new worry tonight for Canada's canola farmers. One of its biggest markets has vanished almost overnight. Chinese importers have suddenly stopped purchasing Canadian canola seed. Experts believe Beijing's motives are linked to a bigger diplomatic dispute. The CBC's Katie Simpson explains.
China is a massive market for Canadian canola farmers, so this decision means billions of dollars in sales are on the line. The Canola Council of Canada says it's being told by farmers that Chinese importers refuse to purchase Canadian seed. Beijing has previously claimed the Canadian product is contaminated, an allegation that Ottawa has adamantly denied.
We're going to roll up our sleeves and work with the Chinese officials to demonstrate that canola should continue to flow safely from Canada to China.
As Canadian farmers grow more concerned, a former ambassador to China says he has no doubt this is related to the arrest of Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou.
In my view, this is directly related to the pressure that they have put so far on the Kenyan government to release Mrs. Meng. Well, we end up in a very difficult position, and again, it shows the extent to which China is ready to go.
Canada arrested Meng on an extradition request from the U.S. in December. Beijing has since demanded her release and arrested 2 Canadians in retaliation. The extradition request is expected to drag on for months, if not years, which means these tensions are not expected to ease anytime soon. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
After 22 months, the U.S. Justice Department has announced the special counsel's office has wrapped up its probe into Russian interference and possible collusion in the U.S. election. Donald Trump has called it a witch hunt, a politically motivated hit job. But as CBC's Paul Hunter explains, if Mueller has delivered a bombshell, it hasn't exploded yet.
It's done. Finally. Robert Mueller, the special counsel whose work has been hanging over the presidency of Donald Trump almost the whole time he's been in office, is finished. The question now, what has he concluded? Late today, Mueller delivered his report, described as comprehensive, to this man, Bill Barr, U.S. Attorney General. It's up to Barr to now decide how much of it to make public as Americans await answers to 2 key questions. Did the Donald Trump campaign collude with Russia to interfere in the 2016 election? And Has Donald Trump obstructed justice by in any way impeding the work of Mueller? Barr, in a written statement tonight to senior lawmakers on Capitol Hill, pledged transparency. I am reviewing the report and anticipate that I may be in a position to advise you of the special counsel's principal conclusions as soon as this weekend. Indeed, for the moment, not even the White House has seen Mueller's findings. We look forward to the process taking its course, said Trump's press secretary tonight. Earlier, Trump echoed his view of the whole thing.
There was no collusion, there was no obstruction, everybody knows it. It's all a big hoax. I call it the witch hunt.
Tonight, Democrats demanded they see the report before Trump and have pledged to fight Barr if he holds back any of it.
It's imperative for Mr. Barr to make the full report public and provide its underlying documentation and findings to Congress.
Even as Barr studies the report, there are clues to where Mueller's gone. Multiple sources tonight say there will be no more indictments. That means none for any in Trump's family, not Donald Trump Jr., not Jared Kushner, as some had speculated there might be. And of course, that means none for Trump himself, though some have suggested even if Mueller found cause to indict Trump, he might choose not to indict a sitting president. Worth noting, also in Barr's letter, a clear suggestion whatever Mueller asked for, he got. Barr writes he'd be forced to say so if any request by Mueller was rebuffed, but, says Barr, there were no such instances during the special counsel's investigation.
CBC's Paul Hunter reporting tonight from Washington. Well, at 6:34 on this Friday evening, here's a live look at Science World off in the distance there. The weekend is officially here, and so is Johanna with her last forecast before going on mat leave. You won't want to miss it. That's next.
This weather update is brought to you by your local RE/MAX agent. The experience, the tools, the know-how. That's the sign of a RE/MAX agent.
You know, what was it, the last 4 nights or so at this time, we could look out our windows here and it's nice and
beautiful
sunny.
Blue, yep. Not so much.
Not so much tonight.
Very ominous, I would say.
Windy too.
Yeah, the front has arrived, I would say, across the south coast. Things are going to change dramatically in the next couple of hours. Showers still filling in across Metro Vancouver, but a very different Friday evening. Let's be reminded of a calmer start to the day with our time lapse. We did see the high clouds sneaking in yesterday, just some gentle cirrus, but definitely seeing more of a mid-cloud variety. The stratus by the afternoon hours, still catching some blue sky breaks out there. It was still a lovely afternoon. Note the temperatures still in the mid-teens, but yes, right about now, things have taken a little bit of a turn as that front moves in from the southwest. 16s right now in through Vancouver and Kelowna, just an 8 out towards Edmonton. Still dealing with some cold temperatures across central Canada, -30 up towards Iqaluit and a -2 down towards Toronto. This is the low pressure system that's bringing us the cloud and the showers through the overnight and Saturday morning hours. This high pressure ridge, that's what brought us the 6 days of records. That is shifting eastward, allowing this little Pacific system to slide in. And look for those showers to continue through the overnight. As I take you through the forecast, stopping you tomorrow morning, just a slight chance of seeing that isolated drizzle to start your Saturday and looking for some sunny breaks on the back end. I'm going to keep this going through Sunday because that's when it looks like we could get another push of showers to kick off your Sunday. Some models are clearing this out quite quickly, though. Others are lingering those Sunday showers into your afternoon. Either way, I do think we'll see some sunshine for Sunday as well on the back end of the day. Quick look at the rest of the province. 8 up towards Prince George tomorrow. We're seeing showers for everyone. Not a major event, but enough that snow levels are actually down around 1,500 meters for Kelowna and Kamloops. May see some high-level snow on the Coquihalla, just a 2 to 5 centimeter story as we head into the weekend. 9 in through Cranbrook and a 13 down towards Victoria. Prince Rupert at a 12. You've got some morning showers, but mainly sunny skies. All in all, just a bit of a blip across the province for tomorrow. Here's that high pressure system shifting eastward. We've got that southwesterly flow, so keeping temperatures fairly warm, but you can see kind of encompasses the whole province for tomorrow. Let me show you the long range forecast. Starting with that 14 tomorrow, so still above our seasonal mark of 11. We'll get back down there on Sunday. And again, watching those Sunday showers. So don't be surprised if they linger a little longer into your afternoon, but I'm still hoping things clear up. Clearing out definitely for Monday and back at our seasonal mark. Tuesday does look like a bit of a rainmaker, probably our most rain that we'll have all week, but clearing out for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Not bad.
Not bad at all. We'll take it. Why
Very
not?
spring-like.
How'd that feel? Last one before Matt leave.
I know.
You made it.
Try not to think about it too much.
All right. Thanks, Joe. We still got work for you, though. Well, there are plenty of challenges awaiting new refugees to Canada. The weather, languages, but one of the hardest, food.
One group of Syrians brought their slow cuisine culture to Canada and started a catering company hoping to bridge divides. Meet the folks behind Taipei.
Hi, I'm Miriam. I'm from Syria. I've been in Canada around 2 years and 2 months. I grew up in Latakia City. It's a city on the coast, and I used to live in a mountain place, which is Selma. So my family gonna be danger if they go back. Oops.
My name is Miriam. I'm from Syria, from Damascus. I've been in Canada for 3 years. We moved from Syria because of the war. You know, it's really difficult to leave your country, especially a country like Syria, because we love Damascus.
We started Taipei with the objective of providing newly arrived women from Syria with employment, financial security, and really social integration and an opportunity to meet, Canadians in their newfound homes. And what we're trying to do is, employ as many Syrian women as possible, and, in the case of Taipei, also employ some of their young daughters as well.
بالحياتنا العادية أنا وبنتي كتير في هيك ترابط كتير قوي بيناتنا، وصار بالشغل فهيك أي شيء بنضل على تواصل مع بعض.
نفس الشيء هو ما حدا بيشوف. Yeah, that's very nice. Like mom and girl and daughter cooperation. It's very nice. They know what they think. She make the same design I would like to do. It's a chickpeas. Yes.
We are at many public events, at farmers markets, at festivals and so on, and we needed somebody who is familiar with the food, familiar with the culture, but also who can speak English and bridge sort of that divide between what happens inside the kitchen and the food and then the public. And so Miriam play a very critical role between Taipei and, you know, Canadians or the public here at large. It's also really sweet to see two moms and two daughters working in the same company as well.
I only know the one side of my mother when she is at home. I know her as a mom, but I don't know her when she's working. We have a stronger relationship now. We know more about each other.
تعرفت على كندا أكثر. صرت إنسانة مستقلة، عندي عملي، صرت قادرة إني أتقبل الحياة أكثر، وصار عندي عمل يعني في طيبة.
The first thing I felt in Vancouver, how people they are friendly and how they are living that mix, like religion mix, skin mix, and language mix, many different people, and they are really friendly to each other, and I really like that one. Maybe some activities will show more about our culture and about our background, how we were living.
I think it's important to showcase that the beauty and the culture is not destroyed, it's not gone, it's still there. We don't see that much of it at the moment, but it's still there. Some of these ladies still talk to their folks at home, back in Syria, and life keeps on going.
This is sweet red pepper spread. It has walnuts, pomegranate molasses, olive oil, and gluten-free breadcrumbs. This is my first job, and it was really nice feeling. I was really excited to start, and I worked really hard. I'm always very cold when I'm doing something, but at work my mom said, "You do that?"
So sweet to see them growing and their skill set growing as the company grows as well.
When we want to celebrate anything, we cook. Anything happy, so we cook. So it means love for us, and we always cook with love.
Violence at a famous church in Montreal. A priest stabbed while celebrating Mass. I'll show you how it happened and try to answer the question why next. An attack at a landmark church in Montreal has sent a priest to hospital with minor injuries. The incident was caught on video as morning mass was being live streamed. We are going to show you some of those images, and we caution they may be upsetting for some viewers. CBC's Alison Northcott with details.
This happened just after 8:30 this morning. Witnesses describe seeing a man who was seated in the church, who appeared to be taking part in the mass, suddenly stand up and walk quickly towards the front of the church to the altar where the priest, Father Claude Groux, was standing and about to deliver the gospel. They say that he was holding what police describe as a sharp object, but what witnesses have described as a knife, and that he then attacked the priest. He was then intercepted by security from the oratory, and they held him until police arrived at the scene and arrested the suspect. The priest is 77 years old. He was taken to hospital with what is described as minor injuries. He is in stable condition and is expected to recover. There were about 50 people attending the mass when this happened, and there were also people watching at home because it was live streamed as this mass in the morning is each morning. So people who saw this unfold in person and at home, and we've been speaking with some eyewitnesses who were there. Here's one woman describing what she saw this morning.
I saw this man coming quickly and taking his knife out and going straight for Père Groux. And it was obvious what his intentions were, so I left screaming to alert the security.
We don't know much yet about the suspect. We do know from police that he is a 26-year-old man and that he is known to police, but police will not elaborate on exactly what that means, other than to say that he does have a criminal record. They say he will be meeting with investigators later today, and they're hoping to learn more about his motivation, about why this attack happened, and that's something people here at the oratory say they want to know as well as some of the witnesses. And a spokesperson for the oratory says that it will remain open today, that the other masses that are scheduled for today will continue despite the ongoing police investigation. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
This was a day of reflection in New Zealand. It's been 1 week since the attack on 2 mosques that claimed 50 lives. At a public service, the Prime Minister cited the Prophet Muhammad.
When any part of the body suffers, the whole body feels pain.
We are broken-hearted, but we are not broken.
Thousands attended the prayer service in a park across from the Al Noor Mosque, one of 2 targeted by a gunman. Among the crowd today, survivors of the attack, some of them in wheelchairs, at the front of the audience. And solidarity was also on display in Victoria as more than 100 people stood watch during a mosque's afternoon prayers.
To see what happened in New Zealand has been very disheartening, and to see the support that's coming from the community is very amazing.
The gesture was originally conceived by the local Sikh community, but soon others joined in. Those who showed up at the Al Ayman Mosque said it was important to show Muslims feeling persecuted and vulnerable to show them support. Well, more than 1.7 million people have been affected by Cyclone Idai. As the CBC's Nala Ayad reports, that need is growing more dire by the day.
It is really hard to appreciate the enormity of the disaster that has affected this place until you see it with your very own eyes, and we did that today. From the air, as we were landing in the city of Beira, it was clear that the sea that has so disrupted lives here is simply vast. Now, I've been texting with people who live here and who lived through what has befallen the city, and they're telling me that they have a shortage of everything. For one, there is no electricity here, and there's no prospect of that being restored anytime soon. Food shortages are there, and many people, thousands of people, don't even have the basic comfort of sleeping with a roof over their heads. One woman told me that they're desperate to get water purification tablets because there have already been cases of cholera being reported. Others are saying that while food aid is coming in, it's not happening quick enough. The first day we received help, but they didn't give it to everyone, she says. They only gave it to those who got inside, but those outside received nothing. Now that is where this airport comes in. There are dozens and dozens of people coming from right across the world who are here to lend a hand. And what we're hearing is that despite the fact that there were still some dramatic rescues today, they are trying to shift the focus now from search and rescue operations and more to actually addressing some of those needs that I mentioned to you earlier today. And their fundamental challenge, the biggest problem they have in delivering that aid is obviously transport. We saw from the air some of those roads that have been washed out. Virtually every road in this area has been affected in some way. It looks like a giant sea or a lake in the middle of a city. And so that is one of the biggest challenges. How do you get food and medicine to people who desperately need it, and some of whom who literally haven't been able to eat for a week? In the meantime, earlier today it was raining, but we're told that the waters here are receding, which should help eventually. But it also brings a double dose of bad news. One is that some of those bodies that are being exposed as the water recedes could increase the risk of disease here. And the other thing, of course, is that the death toll will almost certainly rise. Nalayed, CBC News at the Beira Airport, Mozambique.
Just coming up on 5 to 7 on this Friday night, a live look at City Hall, 12th and Cambie in Vancouver. Our Johanna Wagstaffe is going to be back for one last special visit before her mat leave departure next. Well, are you counting down the minutes?
We're getting there.
I think there's about 3 left.
Yes.
This is outrageous, of course, because you're such a valuable contributor to the CBC Vancouver news team. Invaluable. What are we going to do? How are we going to?
And how long are you going
for? Thanks, guys. A little more than a year. I'm thinking to try and keep, figure out how to raise a human.
Well, a lot of special messages inside the building today.
It's been really lovely.
And also from some familiar faces as well.
Hello, our top story. CBC Vancouver's meteorologist and seismologist is about to go missing. Johanna Wagstaffe is taking several weeks, months, apparently, to start a new adventure. If you see her in the next little while, please smile. Tell her you miss her weather and science expertise. Enthuse and smile at her new project. Kindly pet her dog and give a thumbs up to her project partner. A fine fellow indeed. Joe, love and health and happiness to you and Tristan and Rodney and your new addition. Have fun, Mom.
Johanna, I cannot believe it is almost time. I'm really sad that I'm missing your last day today, but I'm so excited for you in this new adventure. We're going to miss you a lot. I'm not sure who we're going to go to for all of these science stories when we need your expertise and commentary, but you might be getting a lot of texts and phone calls. Hopefully you're okay with that. Maybe you need a little distraction. Everybody knows that you excel at everything that you do, and I think motherhood is no different. I'm wishing you all the best and congratulations again.
Oh man,
those are nice. When you come back, you can be the parenting expert then.
Yeah,
you can also add
I don't think I will ever
latest
get to that
scientific
level.
information on that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I am so excited for this next adventure, but this is my work fam. So I'll miss you guys as I continue expanding the real fam. And I'll keep you posted on baby Wagstaffe.
We're gonna watch for pictures on IG, on Instagram.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna live, stream the birth or anything, but I'll keep you posted. How about that?
Thankful for
yeah,
that.
that's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
that's good. That works.
But you're going to stay on social media, as you say.
I'll be on social media, yeah. I mean, I do love science, and it's so nice that you guys have made that such a big part of who I am with our team. So
we're lucky to
I'll
have
be
you,
out there.
so,
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Do you know what you're having?
I don't. It's a surprise.
That's
the
awesome.
rare surprise in life. You'd think as a scientist I would want all the data, but...
We have some parting gifts.
Yes. Oh, yes. Mike keeps pointing, and I'm forgetting. For you, Jojo.
Lovely.
We love you.
My favorite colors. Thank you.
We're going to miss you. We're going to miss
Thank you. I'll miss you, too.
All the best,
And
Jojo.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
watching.
you.
Leon's back at 11 after the National.
Good night.